See? Not so bad.
Now, with all that said and done, I did like the return of Zia and Franklin, but the sad thing is they're not really in the movie that long. The worst of it is Zia, my personal favorite since Fallen Kingdom, and it's such a shame she's only in the movie for a few minutes and she has some speaking lines. How depressing. And with Franklin, I'm not sure if it's just me or if anyone else, but does Justin Smith look really sickly in this film? I mean, contrast to how he was in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, this kid looks pale. And it's not just in his appearance, but it's also like in his acting. Like, he goes from being energetic and fun to watch to, in this film, this kid was like drained and energy-less. It was filmed during COVID, so it could be possible he did catch COVID or he got vaccinated and he's just getting over the effect. Now, as much as I love Chris Pratt's return to the film, I didn't like how they wrote him in this movie. And this is what it is. Chris Pratt's Owen, he is way too dead serious in this movie. He is not the funny, comical, wisecracking badass that he was in the last two films. And I get it, he's a father to like an adopted daughter that they're protecting, and they said that's what happens when you become a parent, is you put aside childish things and you focus more on the kid and you set an example and you're the grown-up and blah 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 blah. But it's Owen. Give him like one or two good one-liners. Make him kind of a smartass sometimes. Make him somewhat funny. I don't mind Chris Pratt being serious, but not this kind of serious. One thing that makes a Jurassic Park movie work is it's not just the live-action dinosaurs and good CGI, but it's all of the characters, not just the main ones, that brings these movies to life. It's how the side characters have a lot of personality, they're colorful, they have a lot of charisma, they stand out in their own way. With the side characters in Dominion, they were not interesting, they didn't stand out in their own way, they kind of lacked personality. And it was like the characters, they come off very bland. It's kind of hard for you to buy into them. Now with Kayla Watts, who is a smuggler who takes whoever pays the highest bidder, when she saw that Owen and Claire is looking for Maisie, who was kidnapped, the woman does show that she actually has a heart, and she goes out of her way to help these two get their daughter back. But it was how this woman pulled the role. It makes it very difficult for you to buy into the character and actually feel something for this character, like have you cheer on for her, which is kind of a shame. And it's not just her, it's also Ramsey, which is Dodson's assistant. However, I did like in the extended version when Ramsey's pleading Dodson to take responsibility for his actions and face the consequences and tell the world the truth, and Dodson said no. I did love how Ramsey just put his foot down and just gave him you stare that he's the guy that brings in Malcolm, Grant, and Sadler to get proof of what Dodson's done and publicize it to the world. Awesome. But he's another one that doesn't really stand out as much. It's also the same thing towards Delacourt, played by Scott Hayes, which I did like him in Venom and Antlers, but in this film, he's just like your typical dirtbag you see in any other TV show. But the worst of them all? Santos. I cannot stand that woman. She is one of the most boring Jurassic Park villains ever. When she talks, it's like
those idiots making hypothetical wrong. You can't engineer loyalty. You have to nurture it.
No more speaking lines for you.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're bad actors. It's just they just don't have enough of that drive and energy to make their performances so profound and they stand out in their own way. One more note I forgot to mention. When it came to Owen Grady and Alan Grant meeting each other, I kind of expected Alan Grant to be more stern with Grady, with the fact that he was training velociraptors, since he's nearly been eaten by them, not once, but twice. I kind of wanted Alan Grant to go, you know, what did you expect? You were training the smartest and the deadliest dinosaur on the fossil record, and you didn't expect that to backfire in your face? But the fact they acted like they were admired by each other's work was like, that's just lazy writing. Speaking of dinosaurs, not only do they have like really good CGI brought on by Industrial Light and Magic, but they also bring in more practical dinosaurs than they did in the last two films. A lot more than usual. And the best part, no dinosaur in this film was a hybrid. They stuck with purebred dinosaurs. Though the one big bird Freddy Krueger thing that you see later on that's blind, I suspect that thing is so made up. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've studied dinosaurs, but I'll look into that later. But still, that thing looks suspiciously made up. They decided to expand the universe by showing more dinosaurs in the fossil record and bring in actual dinosaurs that no one's ever seen before. And of course the familiar faces from the last two films, but the best was the dino villain, the Giganotosaurus. Yes, one of the apex predators next to the Spinosaurus that can pretty much overpower a T-Rex with little or no problem. How they pull off this creature was so freaking good. The puppet effects was awesome. The creature was scary in its own way, even though it's very slow moving. Still, it was so terrifying that the actors reacted to his presence beautifully, especially since it was big enough to lift itself up and attack this little facility that the heroes take refuge in. And it was like, oh my god, that was the part that felt more like Jurassic Park. Of course, yes, they do have an awesome T-Rex Giganotosaurus fight scene, and at the end of the film, even though Legendary Pictures had no involvement, this is where they had to completely destroy the ending. He had to put in another bullshit dino team-up scene between Freddy the Big Bird, whatever, and the T-Rex versus the Giganotosaurus. And it was just the cheapest goddamn way to finish off this alpha predator. And the worst of it all, they give T-Rex like this, when the Rex is revived back to life, he's like standing up in this badass, he had the superhero stance. And then they have this like stupid moment of the T-Rex and Big Bird going like, yeah, we did it! Team high five! You know what? No more Jurassic Park films for you. I'm serious, Colin Trevorrow. No more. And why do they have to make T-Rex like Gojira? Well, I'm glad Rebirth leaned away from that shit. That's a plus. Another bit of Jurassic World Dominion I also enjoyed, I almost forgot to mention, is in the bonus features you get to watch the short film, The Battle at Black Rock. That was really good, and it was so intense that it was such a shame that they just kind of left that out of the movie, because it had the perfect Jurassic Park tone that whole movie was missing. And it was kind of a shame that I think that was supposed to be like a starter episode for a live action Jurassic Park series that ended up being canceled by Universal, which is such a bummer. I would have preferred the live action Jurassic Park series over an animated Jurassic Park series. Despite the film having some negative aspects and oftentimes can be depressing, it does have comical elements, and each character except for Owen, they do have their funny moments here and there, especially Malcolm. He is hilarious in a couple spots. Best funny bit is when Dotson's throwing his little tantrum when everything's on fire, which does make an excellent music video. I love a lot of the action in the film, from the Atrociraptor chase at Malta to the Amber Mine chase scene to the Giganotosaurus to the showdown between the Gigo and the T-Rex. And they did leave it as a happy-ish ending that shows, how nature, accepts these dinosaurs into their lives. Even though I think it's bullshit that the mosasaur just kind of swims past the whales like they have a mutual understanding. Because in real life, the mosasaur would have eaten the damn whales. But it was kind of nice to see Ellie and Alan back together, which took 20 fucking years. So where do I rate Jurassic World Dominion? If you watch the theatrical version, I'm going to give it a half-price rating. If you watch the extended version, I'm going to be fair and I'm going to give this an almost full-price rating, because the extended version touches up on plot points that the theatrical version is actually missing. And I do love the restored prologue that they actually put into the director's. And I finally wrapped up my Jurassic special with this. I will be moving on with something else, finally. So, please subscribe, please leave a comment. I'm Owen H. Have a nice day.